What's up YouTube? Capital G here, Yu-Gi-Oh! World Championship 2017. This is the finals. We will have a brand new King of Games for the entire 2017 year. It will be a True King Yang Zing variant that ends up winning this event because, of course, this is a mirror match, so it's interesting. No one knew that this deck was all that powerful, but when you take out Zodiac and you cripple True Dracos, this deck reigns supreme. Who's going to end up taking the title? Is it going to be Ryusuke or Shin Fei? We have I believe this is a clash of Japan versus Singapore, so the OCG will definitely take on the victory. Now, if I'm not mistaken, he opened with Oviraptor, and it looks like he opened with that limited copy of Dragonic Diagram. I think I saw him search Baby Sarasaurus. Looks like he's going to get the True King of Earth. He's going to pop that Baby Sarasaurus. I believe that he used that to search the True King of Earth. And if he does summon it, as this is a mirror match, it's very interesting because he'll be able to attack his opponent's extra deck. And it's basically a card that can take Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barrier, right out of the game. Trishula obviously is at limited status on the world's ban list. And if you take that copy out of your opponent's extra deck, they don't get to use it for that duel, and it's actually very important. This is the reason why people choose to run more than one Denlong, because if you go second and your opponent ends up summoning the True King of Earth, well, they can just banish your one copy of Denlong and it shuts down a lot of your playmaking. So looks like he is going to summon his two Dinos. I believe, yeah, look, okay, he's going to use, he's using the True King of Earth, and he's just going to pop those two baby Dinos, and he's going to trigger both of their effects. He's looking at his opponent's extra deck. He's saying, what do you have in here that I might go ahead and eliminate? I'd imagine you have to take out Trishula. Trishula should be the one card you just want to get rid of so that your opponent never gets a chance to use it against you, and then you can actually trish them going first, and then you can just take another card out of their hand, and now you've crippled their extra deck. You start hitting their hand, and you just put them in a really bad spot. I think the player who goes first in this duel has so much of an advantage because basically if you can set up with True King of all Calamities, it really hurts what they're trying to do, especially if you can just activate his effect during like the standby phase before they even have a chance to kaiju. They can't use Oviraptor. They can't really do any of their plays. I think that Ash Blossom is really big in this mirror match as well because there's so much searching between Diagram. Also, it can be used on Miscellaneousaurus. It can be used on Oviraptor. So you see he's going to take out Trishula. I believe that's Baxia, and I didn't catch the middle card. I don't know if that's Denlong or what, but he definitely took out Trish and Baxia. I can't see what the middle card is. Alright, so looks like he might be using, or he's going to summon Miscellaneousaurus, and okay, so he's got Draco on the field as well. Is he going to potentially Synchro Summon? He is. He's going to Synchro Summon for a level 5 monster. I would imagine that Denlong is probably coming out. Okay, there's that Denlong in defense position. He's going to activate the effect. Looks like he's going to do some level modification here. Probably going to send Chiwa into the graveyard. Or no, I think he's just going to search. Okay, yeah, I thought he was going to use the level modification effect. Not yet. He's going to add Yang Zing Path to his hand. Okay, so he's probably I believe that both players are playing 9 branches, and they're both playing Yang Zing Path as well. So he does search the Yang Zing Path, which will of course get him 2 more cards if he resolves that. He's going to summon a copy of Miscellaneousaurus, and now he's going to use the level modification effect. Okay, so he just wanted to do them in a different order. Not really, doesn't really change much of anything. Let's see what he's sending to the graveyard. He is going to send Chiwin as well. And OCG players are super familiar. Oh, I think he's going to Trishula him now. That would be really bad. This was the play I was talking about, where you trish your opponent going first. You don't get to hit their field because obviously they haven't established anything, but you still get a card out of their hand. So he's going to activate Denlong's effect to special summon, and then he's going to get that Trishula as well. And I believe the way you order the chain, it actually makes it so that I believe you can avoid Ghost Ogre as well. So he is going to attack his hand. He's going to summon out Bion as well. That's not Bion. That is Suani. Excuse me. All right, and then Suani out of Shin's hand. Okay, so that gets banished, and he's already lost 4 cards. Looks like he's going to overlay for a rank 9 Exceed. Does he go for True King of all Calamities, or maybe he goes for Cloud Castle? Nope, he's going to go for that True King of all Calamities, and this is a very strong field. True King of all calamities, obviously being able to shut down your opponent's monster effects. You have Bion, which is just a floater. Excuse me, why do I keep saying Bion? Suani. You have Suani, which is a 1900 beat stick that also is a floater, and if your opponent doesn't kill it by next turn, you're probably just going to use it for diagram. You're just going to plus even more. And does he have another play? Oh, he's going to follow that up with Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, and then he's going to set one card, no, two cards face down. And I imagine either in draw or standby phase, he's just going to immediately activate that Calamities. He's going to lock down Shinfei so that he can't use any of his monster effects, at least not monster effects on the field. And it's just going to be a problem. He's going to activate that effect of the True King of all calamities. And this is the turn one board that is extremely strong. If you don't have something like a Regeki or some type of field removal, I don't believe that either player is playing Kaiju Interrupted Slumber because it is limited for the World's Tournament. So I don't think a lot of people are going to be using that. It's just a really difficult board. And he has so much damage on board. I don't think that's quite enough for a game, but it's pretty close. Looks like Shinfei is just going to set two cards. That's unfortunate because even if that card is attacked by Ryotsuke's Ultimate Conductor, he will take 1,000 damage. Looks like he's going to use Galaxy Cyclone in the end phase. That was a Fossil Dig. Okay. So that Fossil Dig was basically a bluff. He obviously could not use that. Not a quick play card. Has to give up 1,000 life points as the cost, but I would just have to say that Shin he's in trouble. He needs that face down monster had better be something powerful. And if it is a Yang Zing monster, it can miss timing. If Ryotsuke finds a way to activate a couple of cards in sequence, he can actually make that Yang Zing miss timing. We don't know if it's a Yang Zing. I have no idea what the card actually is, but there's no guarantee that if it's a Yang Zing, it's actually going to resolve. Now, another question is, does he play any other ways of getting rid or of possibly getting rid of that face down without having it trigger? Because it could be something, just maybe banishing it. It could be something like a baby Ceratosaurus, could be baby Pterodactyl. Those are cards that you obviously don't want to resolve. Is that an Ash Blossom on his? I feel like that might be an Ash Blossom in his hand that he may have just picked up. All right, looks like he's asking his opponent how many cards are in his hand. He says 3. Yeah, I think that's Ash Blossom. I see the fire attribute, and that really looks like a big forehead. That has to be Ash Blossom in his head, which is such a great card. It can be used on so much of this matchup. Does he just go in the battle phase and maybe attack with the Conductor Tyranno? And if he has 9 branches, that's another way of just stopping any monster effects. That just negates during the damage step as well. No, it looks like he's going to use Diagram. He pointed to it. I'd imagine he'd want to blow up his Suani and then proceed from there. You don't want to stall out here. He wants to take advantage. He still has the Yang Zing Path in his hand. So the set card is not a path. It's not a path as a bluff. He is going to blow up his Suani. I think his Yang Zing Path might be online, by the way, too, because of how many Yang Zings he sent to the graveyard. Because Denlong should be in there, Chi-Wen should be in there, and then he just sent Suani, so that's at least 3 right there. His Yang Zing Path can be online, so he can obviously just continue digging for cards. Looks like he's going to take the Fire True King. He's going to say, I'm going to go ahead and trigger my Suani as well. He gets a Bion in defense mode. Okay. So that's not going to... The Bion's not going to be doing any damage this turn. At least I don't think so. He has no... He could actually Link Summon too. Could go for a Decode Talker. I don't think it would be a very good use of resources, but... It's an option. He's going to activate that Yang Zing Path. I think this is the right play. He just wants to dig for cards right now. And looks like he is going to give up the, or he's going to put back the Denlong, the Chi-Wen, and the Suani. 3 cards are just named. So at least, if nothing else, this gives him the opportunity to draw for more answers. To say, look, I want to see all my options before I commit to something. I think that's pretty much the right play to do. Before you go in the battle phase and you commit to an attack or you commit to a certain strategy, might as well just dig, see what your deck has to offer for you. Now, obviously, after they shuffle, in Worlds, they hand the decks to the judges just to make sure that things are properly shuffled. Judges get final cuts instead of the opposing players. He draws 1, and he'll draw a second card as well. I believe he got a Max C, which... It's generally one of the best cards in the game, just not in this position, because for Mag C to be effective, your opponent has to be mounting some offense, but that's not happening right here. Now, I believe he just used Miscellaneous Saurus, so... And he's going to get himself a Draco from the deck. But what is that level 1 tuner going to do? Oh, he might be using that... Ah, he's using those to summon the Fire True King, and that's going to banish the Suwani. So it was a Suwani face down. I think he might have enough here to game him. Conductor Tyranno plus True King of all Calamities plus that True King of Fire. I'm not sure if he survives this, to be honest. I think that is enough damage. What is that set card? Is it actually going to be relevant? He's going to poke for 25, 3,000, and looks like that is game. All right, so game 1, I would say, was pretty decisive by Ryotsuke, and it really just seems like who goes first in this matchup. I hate to call it a coin flip duel, but in this particular matchup, if you open up and your opponent doesn't have, if you open up well and your opponent doesn't have a Maxi or a Ghost Ogre or an Ash Blossom or something to stop you from doing your plays, there's so many options. The fact that he attacked his extra deck and then he Trishula'd him, and then during the end phase when he had his set card, that got hit with Galaxy Cyclone, Cosmic Cyclone. I mean, it was a bluff anyways, but you never know. It just, I mean, he was overwhelmed from the jump. Now, if he would have had a Maxi, the things might have been a little different. If he would have had an Ash Blossom to stop the Oviraptor, okay, maybe he doesn't get to the cards that he needs to get to. Maybe he doesn't get a search from Diagram. He doesn't get that True King. He doesn't start rolling. He doesn't snowball the game. But yeah, that was really, really one-sided. So they're showing a nice pan of the audience, and I have to say, this event looks so much more lively, and, you know, it seems like Konami is really going for the whole esports vibe. You know, maybe they've been watching ESPN as they've shown Evo and Street Fighter and stuff like that on ESPN, and obviously on Twitch TV, you got League of Legends and games like that, Dota 2, etc., etc. So maybe Konami is trying to take Yu-Gi-Oh! In an esports direction. You know, I hear that they're actually contemplating putting esports in the Olympics, or at least it's something that is currently being talked about. So let's go ahead and, I guess they're shuffling up siding. I honestly don't know what you side in this matchup. I saw Dogoran, and I wonder if you side out Dogoran. But, well, what can Dogoran be used for? Dogoran obviously being that kaiju that is searchable by Oviraptor. What can Dogoran really be useful for? I mean, Dogoran against True Draco, it's pretty obvious. You can just, like, you can get rid of a masterpiece, and that is amazing. But Dogoran in this matchup, I mean, I guess you can get rid of True King of all Calamities, but you saw how Shin only got, he essentially only got one turn, and he died during the second turn. So it's not like using a Dogoran on True King of all Calamities really would have changed much of anything. He still would have died. He just would have died to a different monster. It would not have changed anything. He wouldn't have been able to stop the True King of all Calamities from activating, and it would have been the same exact result. So I wonder almost if you just side out your kaijus. This is an interesting mirror match because it really just seems like you want to establish your board really early and then just make sure, or I guess cross your fingers that your opponent can't break it. Now, I hear that neither one of these players is running more than a few traps. I would have thought that Dimensional Barrier would be something that both of them would be using. I mean, I guess it's completely irrelevant against the True Draco Demise deck, so I'm not sure you wanted the main deck Dimensional Barrier, but if they're not siding D-Barrier, I mean, I think they're really messing up, because D-Barrier going second in this matchup seems extremely strong. I mean, yes, there are cards like the Ultimate Conductor Tyranno that can pretty much wreck a D-Barrier, or it can kind of ignore it because, you know, it can still get on the field, it can still do a whole bunch of damage, but I don't know, I still think D-Barrier can be good. Stopping synchro plays. You saw that Denlong was the first card he kind of went for that got the ball rolling. Stopping Exceed plays. Actually, well, yeah, if you would have called synchro, you'd have been able to hypothetically stop Denlong and Trishula. That'd be powerful. Alright, so I'm going to say that Shin's going to go first. He does not look pleased. He didn't get to play much Yu-Gi-Oh! In that first duel. That wasn't even a situation where he bricked. That was just a situation where his opponent just locked him too hard. Maybe Anti-Spell Fragrance. I think Anti-Spell Fragrance could be pretty good too. If you go first, and maybe you open up with True King of all Calamities plus Anti-Spell Fragrance, like, that's pretty difficult. Especially if these guys are playing Fossil Dig, they're playing Pop Desires. They're playing Diagram, Terraforming. That's a lot of cards to be able to stop. So they're going to shuffle them up, see what's going to happen. Shin should be going first unless he just has the heart of the cards and he knows he's going to open with a Max C or something of that nature. Now, if Max C is in either player's opening hand, it's going to definitely be something that could decide the duel. So, one player is going to start, and the question is, looks like Shin is going to start. Ryosuke will have to see what Shin has. He's going to open with Oviraptor, which is basically the way that Ryosuke started on him last turn. Looks like there will be no Ash Blossoms, no Ghost Ogres. He's going to take Miscellaneousaurus, adds it to his hand. He did... Okay, so he's going to pitch it now. And looks like he's just going to banish it. So now he's pretty much immune to like Ghost Ogres and stuff like that. His dinosaur monsters in the main phase are unaffected by card effects. So he's going to go Synchro Shokin. And out comes Denlong, I imagine. Or, I mean, he could go for Chambara, right? But that doesn't make any sense. He could go for the Speedroid Chambara, but that wouldn't make any sense. So he's not going to go for that. He goes for the Denlong. He's going to go ahead and get a search. He goes for the 9 pillars. Now, that's what I like to see. Get some counter traps going. Now he's going to go for level modification. And does he throw Chiwin in the grave? Does he throw Beyond Tsuani? It has to be Chiwin, I imagine. Throws the little baby Chiwin in the graveyard. And looks like he's going to shuffle it up. Now, the thing is, the fact that he went for 9 branches, maybe that signifies that his hand isn't that great. Because 9 branches is a defensive card. It is basically a card that stops everything. We call it the Infernity Barrier in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it's a counter trap that can be used against pretty much any act. Not summoning, not attacking or anything like that, but any type of effect. And, did he just set 1 card and pass? No way! His hand must be terrible. That is all he has committed to the board. And keep in mind, this actually might be a time to Kaiju. If he summons a Kaiju, that 9 branches that we assume is the set card, that could be turned off immediately. Shin must have a really bad hand if he didn't commit anything else to the board. I mean, you guys saw how much Ryosuke just went in turn 1 for Shinfei to not really do much of anything. Oh, he plays Lost World. This duel is about to get crazy. There's going to be tokens all over the place, and it's going to get bananas. I actually was wondering if either player played Lost Worlds. It's such a stupid card in the mirror match. All right, so Lost Worlds is not... Oh, he's going to chain. Looks like he's going after his own card with Cosmic Cyclone, not going after the back row. Will that prompt the 9... No, he is. He's going after the 9 branches. Fair enough. And that is a great way to bait out the 9 branches. This is really bad for Shinfei because it appears he's pretty much at the mercy of Ryosuke. He can kind of do whatever he wants now. He doesn't have to worry about that 9 branches. That card that could have stopped anything. Now, he could have actually stopped the Lost World. He could have used 9 branches. I don't know if that would have been worth it, to be honest, but he chose not to, and now we're at the position that we're at. I mean, for him to not commit anything else to the board, he must have like a Maxi, or you'd like to think that he might have an Ash Blossom or something, because Ryosuke hasn't played any searching cards. He hasn't played Oviraptor or anything like Terraforming. He hasn't played Diagram. I would just have to imagine he must have like an Ash Blossom or a Maxi. Either that or his hand just must be like 3 copies of 3 True Kings or something like that. All right, so it looks like he wants to summon the True King of Earth, and what is he going to destroy to summon it is the question. Does he have Baby Sarasaurus in his hand? Something like that would be fairly useful. He is going to obviously destroy cards in his hand. He has nothing on the field, no monsters on the field that he could destroy. We'll just have to wait. Okay, so he destroyed Miscellaneousaurus and the Baby Pterodactyl. Fair enough. Oh, he's going to use Skullmeister. Interesting. That should stop. Oh, okay, fair enough. So Skullmeister is really interesting of a tech card. It will negate the Baby Pterodactyl, so it won't activate. Now he summons the Draco. And you see that black counter. That is that is actually a token. And Lost World's going to activate. He's going to be able to destroy a dinosaur within his deck. This is where things are going to start getting kind of nutty, is when you start blowing up dinosaurs from your deck, because they can trigger as well, and they can get you more monsters on the field. Now, his extra deck is completely, or his extra monster zone is free. So he can kind of do some plays here. I mean, he has a tuner on board. All right, so he has Oviraptor. Does he want to synchro with Oviraptor? Looks like he might want to search first. He's going to say, look, I'm going to think about all my... I think he might actually take Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. Ultimate Conductor Tyranno looks actually really good here. But that's just me speculating. I think it's a really decent card here. Especially if he can summon it now and immediately get some damage in. That would be really, really good. We might see him win this turn if he goes for Ultimate Conductor Tyranno and that thing sticks on the board, because it can attack tokens as well, and there it is. He is going to search that Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. I love Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. The fact that it can attack every single monster on the board, it can just do so much damage. Even when it attacks defense position monsters, it does 1,000 damage. It looked like he wanted to synchro. He's not going to attack, right? He has his hand on Oviraptor. No, he is going to attack. Okay. I thought maybe he might throw down the Conductor Tyranno first, but no, he does not. Now, the thing is, he can't get over Denlong. So, he's not going to be able to clear that board. But maybe in main phase 2, he wants to do something else to clear it. You know what? He could honestly be setting up for a Trishula play. A Trishula play here would just be, jeez. It would be just downright dirty. Maybe, yeah, maybe he's going for a Trishula play. That could be a distinct possibility. You could eliminate Shin's graveyard. You could hit a card out of his hand. And then at the same time, you get rid of that Denlong as well. Looks like there may be a temporary stoppage in play for a ruling or some sort of game state assessment. All right, looks like they're talking to Ryutsuke. And okay, looks like he's putting the token back on the field. Okay. Was the token's defense may have been was the token's defense too high? Or okay, it looks like nothing really changed in the game state. The token didn't die from the Oviraptor attack. Okay, fair enough. But it did die from the True King's attack, so not much has really changed in the game state, but it looks like they just wanted to correct something regardless. Now the question is, where do you go here? Does he go for a sync? You know, he can go for his own Denlong too, but that doesn't really advance. Like, him going for a Denlong doesn't kill Shin's Denlong, so that would be one. That would be what I would want to address. I think maybe I would have went aggressive and summoned Conductor Tyranno, but that might be too aggressive, honestly. He's looking at his extra deck, seeing maybe what he can go for that can get rid of. Denlong is a problem in this matchup because it just tends to slow the duel down, and it tends to favor the person who summons Denlong first because it is kind of a wall, and there aren't that many monsters that, I believe Denlong has 2,800 defense. There aren't that many monsters that can just outright run it over. Obviously, Conductor Tyranno is like the key one because that is the boss monster of the dinosaur deck. Does he summon Conductor Tyranno? Well, no, there's not a point now. He's already in main phase 2. If you summon Conductor Tyranno now, you're just kind of wasting it. Unless he has a whole bunch of baby dinosaurs in his hand. No, I think he might be summoning Conductor. He has his hand on 2 dinosaurs. No, actually, I can't tell if he has 2 dinosaurs or not. Yeah, I think that's a miscellaneous sword. Yeah, I think he does. Looks like the judges are talking to them now. Once again. I just think if he was going to go the Conductor route, I think he should have done it before battle phase. What will be the play here? And then you have Jurassic World, which just adds a whole nother mix because of the tokens. All right, so he's going to go with his play. No, actually, he's going to use Miscellaneous Saurus. Okay, I thought he was going to use those 2 for Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. Looks like he's going a different route to summon Baby Ceratosaurus. Judges are talking to him a lot. Hope he didn't do anything illegal. Or he's not getting like a slow play warning or something like that. He still does have the synchro option though, because he has a tuner on board. Or he could link summon. He has 4 monsters. Oh, yeah, but Firewall Dragon's not legal, though, unfortunately. Firewall Dragon would actually be possibly good here. But Firewall Dragon, Code of the Duelist, is not legal, despite the fact that it has been released in the TCG and it's been in the OCG for a long time. It is not legal at this event. I wonder how much of a difference it would have made. I think people would have played Firewall Dragon. I'm not sure about other things, but Firewall Dragon definitely would have been a card that saw a little bit of play. Okay, so he looks like, yeah, he definitely wants to do something. Just not sure what. He's pointing to Jurassic World. And what is the question with Jurassic World? Man, I think they have they're trying to get a lot of rulings here from the judges. It's interesting because the first duel went so quickly, it almost made you think that the second duel was gonna fly by as quickly. When Ryutsuki used Cosmic Cyclone on Shinfei's 9 branches, I was like, man, this could be off to the races. This might be game over during this turn. But then he kind of went a little passive, and duel kind of slowed down a little bit. All right, so it looks like they may be getting a ruling on something. It might have to do with Lost World. I'm not sure. I'm sure they'll have it solved fairly quickly. At least one would hope so. But I'm trying to think of what type of plays he has here. So Baby Ceratosaurus is a 2. He has a 1. All right, so here's going to do something here. Looks like... Okay, he was pointing at Baby Ceratosaurus, but what are you doing? I'm trying to think if there is a 4... Is there a level 7 synchro that dinosaurs play? And actually, now that I'm looking at Ryusuke's deck, he plays Skullmeister as well. So it looks like both players are using that card. I wonder how many copies. And I wonder if they ever exceed with it as well. There are level 4s. Okay, so he's going to summon Miscellaneousaurus. He is going to synchro summon for a 5, I believe. So it looks like he's going to go for Denlong as well. I believe this could be a very slow duel. Because, like, I see the Denlong, and I understand the 9 branches. Obviously, you're wanting to make sure that whatever Shinfei does to try and counter your board, you can stop. But doesn't really help you answer the 9 branches on the other side of the field. Of course, Synchro monsters, Xyz monsters, Link monsters, and Fusion monsters are now summoned to the extra monster zone, not the main monster zones anymore. If you're confused by this, watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Reigns the anime. That's all I can say. It's the new rules of Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh, it looks like he is going to go for Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. So he's throwing it down. Maybe he didn't go in the battle phase. If he didn't go in the battle phase, that could change everything. I was under the impression that he already attacked. Oh, he's going to use Ultimate Conductor Tyranno's effect. That's going to put Denlong face down. Baby Ceratosaurus is going to activate. And he's going to get a summon of a dinosaur. He's going to get another Baby Ceratosaurus to essentially just protect it. Oh no, is he going to link summon? What is he going to do? Oh, he's going to Trishula. Okay, I thought maybe he was going to link summon. He's going to use the Denlong as a... He's going to use the Denlong as his tuner. Interesting. All right, so I totally forgot Denlong was a tuner. Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barrier, comes down. Denlong is going to actually activate, and that's going to get him a copy of Chi-Wen, and this is just massive. That Denlong that is on Shin's side of the field is not long for this world. It's going to be banished, along with a card in his hand, as well as Oviraptor. Yeah, he's going to banish Soul-Eating Oviraptor. And he has 3 cards in his hand. All right, loses Baby Pterodactyl. He has 2 cards. And if you look at Ryusuke's field, it's massive and looks like he's going to exceed 2. This is just really, really bad. I believe he's going to go for True King of All Calamities because it worked during the last duel. This is almost identical of a setup. Looks like he's going to set 1 card face down. You'd have to imagine that that's 9 branches to be used with Chi-Wen. If Chi-Wen gets attacked, it doesn't matter. He'll just get like a Suani, which could still activate the 9 branches. But, man, this looks like it is just a complete one-sided duel. This looks like a stomping at this point. It's almost similar to Worlds from last year, the Blue Eyes versus Blue Eyes matchup, where it was just pretty much one-sided. I mean, I don't know what to tell you guys. We can't beat these Japanese players, man. We got Singapore up in here, and he's just getting curb stomped right now. I hate to be graphic, but that's just what it is. All right, Shen Fei, whatever you drew had better get you home. Now, I think I just saw Yang Zing Path in his hand, but I don't even know if he can activate it. I mean, getting trished in the Plant Synchro format of the 5Ds era usually meant that you lost. Trishula was like the one card you never, ever, ever, ever wanted to let your opponent resolve unless they were under Maxi and you were drawing cards to counteract that. But Trishula is basically still that card. There's a reason that it was banned for years. Trishula, when it resolves, it does kind of feel like the game. It feels like the metaphorical dagger in the heart. And he does the same thing that he did in Duel 1. I don't like this. Shin basically just T-sets. A T-set is when you set a monster and then you set a spell and trap. It basically makes a T-shape. That's why we call it a T-set. He did the same exact thing in the last duel. The problem is he already knows that Ryusuke has 9 branches. Whatever that face down is, Ryusuke can just negate it. And we just saw that it was a trap. I saw purple, so that has to be the 9 branches. There is nothing stopping Ryusuke from just attacking. Now, maybe the face down is something that can bait out the 9 branches or something, but if he summons another big monster, this can be over. He's going to go for Fossil Dig. Will that get him? What's he going to get from that? The question is, what does he have left? He's used a lot of dinosaurs, actually. Yeah, he has actually ran through a lot of dinosaurs. And the thing is, I'm not really sure how well the dinosaur deck recovers its resources when they're banished and when they're in the graveyard. The True Draco deck does it exceptionally well because it has True Draco Return and it has True Draco Succession. So it has multiple ways of putting its stuff back in the deck. He's going to go for Oviraptor, which should get him another card as well. Alright, so he's basically got himself some offense, level 4 offense. If he summons it, which he does. He's going to activate Oviraptor's effect. He's going to give his opponent a token for Lost World. And what does he want to search? I think he's looking for more offense. Don't let that 8,000 life points fool you. The amount of damage that Ryusuke can do in one turn can easily exceed 8,000 life points. Mainly because of Ultimate Conductor Tyranno's 1,000 damage per battle effect. And then the fact that he has the True King of all calamities. He has the 9 branches to stop any monster effects. He's going to get Miscellaneous Source. And, what's it called? Chiwin can summon another Yang Zing as well. Now, is he going to activate a Miscellaneous Source effect from the graveyard? Looks like he is. How many is he going to banish, though? Looks like just 2. Or maybe that's 3. No, I think he's rethinking it. I think he's thinking I might want to go deeper now. Looks like he's going 2. All right. You know, I wonder if he might summon another True King here. Baby Sarasaurus. Okay. So there's Baby Sarasaurus. Could he possibly... What can he do with that? I feel like he might be trying to set up for a True King here where he blows up his Baby Sarasaurus and maybe he blows up his Chiwin as well. And then he tries to trigger them both. Oh no, although actually no, I think the Chiwin might miss timing then. Yeah, I think the Chiwin could possibly miss timing. It depends on how the chain links go. Not sure about that. If it would make it miss timing, then he wouldn't do that. Alright, so Baby Sarasaurus is going to the graveyard, and out comes Oviraptor. He's already searched from it, so he's not getting any search. Could he go for Doke? No, he can't go for Doke. His extra monster zone is locked up. He can't use the extra deck anymore, actually. His extra deck is locked. Question is, where do you go from here? I think you just take your Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, and I think you just use it as a battering ram. I think you just try and force your way in there. I think you should smell blood. Yeah, it looks like he's just walling up with a bunch of offensive monsters. He has 3 copies of Oviraptor, and yeah, I think you just attack with Tyranno, and you see what you can do. Tyranno is going to attack the token. He's going to do 1,000 damage. He's going to attack the face down. Baby Sarasaurus, and it looks like that is a handshake. GG, ladies and gentlemen. Ryusuke is now your 2017 world champion. It was a kind of an anticlimactic duel, if you ask me. It was so it was so dominant. He almost falls over. Oh man, that would have been hilarious. Thank you guys for watching as always.